Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tent Talk, the Farmers Market podcast. This podcast is all about farmers markets, how to increase your market business success while providing people with fresh food. Farmers markets are essential. Whether you're a farmers market manager or a small farmer or food maker selling at farmers markets, you have found just the right podcast. This week, our guest is Charlie Blonkenfeld, Brooklyn-born bagel maker and owner of Bagelfeld Bagels in Phoenix, Arizona, about his market business and his recent Kickstarter campaign. Hey everyone, I'm one of your hosts, Bridget Myers. I'm a longtime Farmers Market manager, Vendor 101 co-teacher, and education coordinator at Farmers Market Pros.
And I'm Kat Fields-White, Director of San Diego Markets, still an active Farmers Market manager and consultant, founder of Farmers Market Pros, and host of Intense, the Farmers Market Conference, and the Farmers Market Pros community.
And I'm Justine Marzoni-Mead, Tent Talk producer, marketing director for Farmers Market Pros, and logistics coordinator for Intense, the Farmers Market Conference 2022.
Coming up
in March.
March 7th through 9th.
Coming right at
sunny
ya.
San Diego.
Ooh, it's going to be nice.
Back in person and online, if you're so inclined.
But mostly in person.
Well, we'll be there in person.
Yes.
That's for sure. Today's episode of Tent Talk, the Farmers Market podcast, is supported by The Kitchen Door, helping farmers market vendors locate the perfect commissary kitchen spaces for them. Detailed listings of the equipment, pricing, and resources available at licensed kitchens in your area facilitate the perfect match. To find your kitchen and reserve your space, click the Kitchen Door logo on the resource page at farmersmarketpros.com.
Well, welcome back to Tent Talk, everybody. Today we are talking with Charlie Blonkenfeld, founder and owner of Bagelfeld Bagels in Phoenix, Arizona. Shout out, my hometown. Charlie launched his bagel business in 2020, and he's found a devoted following at farmers markets across the Phoenix area. His operation quickly outgrew his rented commercial kitchen, so he launched a Kickstarter to cover the cost of expanding production and a brick-and-mortar location. Welcome, Charlie.
Hello. I'm glad to be here. This is going to be interesting.
We certainly hope
To
so.
Tent Talk?
What's that?
Have you ever listened to Tent Talk, Charlie?
No, I haven't. I didn't even know it was out there until you guys told me about it, and I'm guilty that I haven't been so busy. I haven't even checked it out.
You've been busy.
That's okay.
That's fine.
And sometimes it's one of those things where it's like, if somebody's like, hey, check out this band, and then you go and it's like, there's 20 albums, and you're like,
Yeah.
I don't even know where to start. We have a
Right.
lot of episodes.
Yeah.
So you can start with your
It's
own episode
daunting.
and then work back.
Yeah.
We're excited to talk to you, though. You're a great fit.
Yeah.
Bridget
So-
actually ate your bagels in Phoenix, right? Isn't that how we
Yeah,
discovered Charlie?
I almost called you Bagel. Bridget emailed us one of your Kickstarter links and was like, "Oh, I had this guy's bagels. He would be a great person to talk to." So
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that was the Square cash register system.
Yes, is that how I
And let
got
me do
that?
that.
Yeah,
What's
well,
that?
we can go.
Yeah, we'll get back to
we
that.
can
but
get to
yes,
those details. But
interesting.
yes, I
Okay.
did do a
Right.
case
I
study.
just-
Yes,
That's how you got it.
we'll explain
Yeah.
that.
I
Okay.
get it. Okay.
Okay, great. Well, let's start at the beginning. Charlie, we just want to hear a little bit about your background. So tell us just a little bit about your personal and business background and what led you to start making bagels.
I've been a chef for a long time. I just turned 49, so I've been cooking since my 20s. And I've been on my own as a private chef and a small caterer for about 3.5 to 4 years on my own, just kind of hustling. I feel like it's not the greatest gig in the world, but I feel like I'm some sort of Uber version of a catering company. That you can hire me without the big company, but then it's the money and everything's, it's a little bit different. I have 3 years ago, I got a commissary kitchen, because I was getting my parties and my catering was getting too big. And pandemic hits. This is my condensed version of the story. I've told this story many, many times. Pandemic hits. I tried to sell some food a few different ways. And I tried to do a little bit of meal prep and meal delivery. And the money and the logistics of a hourly kitchen rental, I pay rent by the hour on my kitchen, monthly storage, and then hourly use. I couldn't quite hit the dollars to make meal prep work. I needed guaranteed minimum 500 $700 in sales just to prep meals, and I couldn't quite sell it. Time goes by. I want to leave town. I want to move, to a state that was handling COVID better than Arizona. Arizona kept dropping the ball, and schools and kids. I was looking at Connecticut, Vermont, Colorado, to make sure my kid, was going into first grade, make sure my kid goes into school. So I was ready to leave town. I see an ad for a job for a chef for a bagel company, and then that flipped a little switch. And I can't remember exactly. Like, I saw the ad and I thought about bagels, and I don't know what it did. There's a lady in town that runs a business, Nancy. She remembers it clearly, that I was standing in her office one day and I was like, "Hey, I'm going to sell bagels." And then they laughed at me. They're like, "How are you going to make any money selling bagels?" And I'm like, "I don't know if I'm going to make any money, but I'm going to try making bagels." So I go to the landlord of the commissary kitchen. I says, I need like 60 free hours, 60 hours.
How did they respond to that request?
He's like, "Yeah, sure. Do what you got." Oh, you got
It's
a nice
good timing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave and move out in end of December and give up my insurance and my permits. I'm gonna walk away, or give me 60 free hours and maybe I figure something out. So what are you gonna do as a landlord? You're gonna give the guy the hours. I need 60 hours over the next month or whatever. So then I play with the bagels. I sell them on Facebook to friends, and my bagel recipe is long fermentation. So you make, and it worked out that way. It was a little bit of an accident because of the kitchen rental by the hour. You're supposed to make the dough and let it rest for an hour. Take it out, roll it immediately, put it back in the fridge and let it rest for a day, and then bake it. I didn't want to wait around for an hour on the clock, so I just put the dough in the fridge and left for the day. Then I went back the next day and rolled it, put it back in the fridge, left for a day. Then I went back the next morning and baked it. So that little weird accident, not wanting to sit on the clock, gave me this artisan bagel on accident. But so I sold to a number of people. They liked it. And then it was all very much the math and the money. When I first had the idea of selling a bagel, I thought I was going to make 4 dozen bagels and turn them into sandwiches and sell those sandwiches for $8 and deliver them somehow. And that was going to be and then sell some salads and sides with it somehow. And that would be my $500 in sales for the day. Like that was the original thinking. But once I started doing the math, it was like, no, I can't do it that way. I need to sell 200-300 bagels real quick in one day. And then that would, so then the only place to sell that, Saturday is an obvious day. And then you sell it at a market. It was like, it just fell into place.
Okay. So awesome story. Love to hear how these like little eccentric pivotal moments because of your commissary kitchen. That's so interesting. So when did you know that this was a thing? You started making bagels, you're playing around with it, you sell it at Facebook, but how did you know that this was like a legit business venture?
Well, see, and this might have screwed me up because right in the beginning, like people say, like I follow Gary Vee, the guy on Instagram that talks, the motivational guy, and these different things. And you hear this stuff about not being a quitter, don't quit, don't give up, and blah, blah, blah. I went into this ready to stop and quit any day. Like, this may not make money. This may be a bad idea. I'm still ready to quit. Part of me, I'm trying to get this building ready, and I'm like going, it might not be like, and it kind of screwed me up.
That gives you a freedom, though. I mean, that gives you freedom if you're right. Okay, what's the worst that could happen? I'm going to do what I plan to do anyway.
If you think it through, it is a bad idea. That the bagels are not going to make. It's not. not making much money. I've lost a lot of money doing it. I barely keep it even. So I went into it thinking, if I got to quit, that's okay. Be ready to quit and walk away. I haven't spent a lot of money yet. So if I got to quit, I quit. So, the first day at the market, it sold out. It was $600-700 in sales. Boom, it's done. It was easy. And then you kind of add the money up and you're like, oh, it kind of makes sense. I think I knew I had a good product. It was, and I don't know if it was early or a number of months in, but I would find myself eating like 2 or 3 bagels in a day, driving back and forth from the kitchen to the market. And it was a regular deal that I could eat 2 or 3 bagels, no cream cheese, nothing. And just eat the bagel the way it is week after week. And it's like, oh, and that I would say that in the catering. Like I'd wonder, are these good? Like, are these mashed potatoes? Did I do these potatoes right? And then I find that, I just grabbed like 3 forks out of the drawer to taste the mashed potatoes 3 times. Yeah, they're good. You just ate 3 bites. Yeah, don't stop questioning yourself. It's good. And move on to something else. So I knew a couple of those things. Like I knew that the product tasted good. I knew it sold, but the making them is the hard part. The efficiency and the money is the real questionable part to the whole thing,
Yeah. So you decided that, or you figured out this is a good product. I'm into this. I'm eating these bagels in my own time. That was already after you were at the farmer's market?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you decided to sell at the farmer's market, like what was your relationship with farmer's markets? Was it something that you would go to and visit in your own time, or how did that idea even come to mind?
Well, one, we live real close to one, and the Uptown Market, we're barely about a mile away. And my catering, I would shop at the markets a lot. Like I would put it on there. I would do it that way. I was buying, one of the pasta guys makes fresh pasta. And all of a sudden, like 2 years ago, I'm trying to make fresh pasta. That was going to be my thing for a while. I'll make fresh pasta for catering, and I would advertise it as that. And then I run across the guy making fresh pasta at the market, and I'm like, this is stupid. I'll just advertise that I'm using his. So I would put his boxes on the counter at the party and say I got fresh pasta and blah, blah, So I was familiar. I would buy the produce there at times, and say I'm using the actual produce from the market. And I had thought about going in. I had researched actually going into a market. I wanted to do a photography thing at one of the farmers markets. And I almost did it. It didn't quite play out. I should have done it. It was still brilliant.
Not as delicious as bagels.
Huh?
Not as delicious as bagels.
No, it was clever. I wanted to do pet photography at the market.
As farmers market managers who strongly discourage pets at the market, this one doesn't resonate with us.
Pets all the time.
Well,
You're not supposed to.
You do it all the time. And then you do it based around the holidays. So you could have a Valentine's theme. And you wouldn't do it all the time. It would be like a monthly sort of.
People would love that for their pets.
People would love it. That's true. Everybody except the manager. Trust me.
So I had researched the money and the price and stuff like that. My wife had told me to do some other food there before at the markets, and I'd thought about it. So I kind of knew,
You were familiar with it. So did you start at the Uptown Market? Was that your first market that you joined?
Well, the lady, she's going to probably listen to this. She's really hard to get a hold of.
Oh.
For a while there. And, so the downtown guy got back to me super fast. And I don't think I wanted to do Uptown because I knew the volume maybe was too much.
At their Saturday market.
Their website said that there was a wait.
Okay.
There was a wait. Just in general, there was a wait for the market. But I think it was more in regards to, if you want to make a breakfast burrito at the Uptown, there's 10 people in front of you, But So downtown was first on a Saturday. Then I went to uptown on Wednesdays. So that was my routine for a little while. Then I talked to the lady and she's like, you can come do Saturday whenever you want. There was no wait for bagels. There was no one else doing it. So,
Oh. So do you do both? Do you do uptown Saturday and downtown Saturday and just have a split team?
yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, those are both good.
Those are both good markets.
Mm-hmm.
I got super lucky that they both ran year round. You know, you just pick up like all these bits of information to see if it's going to work, you know, and, you know, they run year round and blah, blah, blah. It's close and you round up people to work and, you know, I've been lucky that I found people. I mean, I think I pay the girls working the booths make a lot.
Yeah.
With tips, on the machine, dropping the tips and everything. And,
yeah,
you know, it's, so yeah, I'm super lucky.
Yeah, well, so I took my son. I have a first grader too. We went to the Uptown Market on Wednesday I want to say in July. I was there for my sister's birthday, and then you had a staffer in your booth, and she was so sweet. And we sat and talked to her, and she was so sweet to my son, and it was just a really good experience. Your booth looked great, and then we kind of took the bagels to go, and we ate them in the car, and they were so good. I even took a picture and I posted it, and it was great. And yeah, it's just a perfect farmers market fit, I think. So how did other customers react to your bagels? Did you guys it sounds like you kind of hit the ground running and were selling out. Was it a nice steady stream? Like regularly customers were reacting really well to the bagels at the markets?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I guess I was surprised by the reaction that I knew the product was good. I didn't know that it would hit people the way it did, you know? And then this is the tricky part in this whole story. This is where I got to see if I can get it out right, if I can say it right. Because the reaction you would get, the bagel triggered a memory for these people. They've been living in Arizona or Phoenix or whatever. They've been away from back east or New York. And they haven't had that bagel, but somehow when they eat that bagel, it triggers some sort of memory to them and they feel this thing like, oh my, you know, and I don't think it happens like that with other food. I got a memory of eating just a baguette sandwich and bread in New York 3 years ago with my wife and kid. You know, I'm researching where to go. And this friend of ours that had been there, she's like, oh, you got to just go get a sandwich at such and such a place on the blah, 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 wherever it was in New York. And I wrote down all these different places to go. And we went and we got it. And we're sitting on a doorstep next door to the building. But it was the simplest sandwich, but it was good baguette. And they warmed it up and the salami on it. And somehow that memory is it's ingrained in me.
I think there's something about bread. I think bread has a lot of
very
cultural
emotional
relationships.
And I think there is. And I remember Dutch Crunch bread sandwich in San Francisco from 20 years ago. And the fancy focaccia place in San Francisco that's there, you know, they're open till they run in North Beach. So the baguette triggers that memory in these people, and it's amazing. But this is the tricky part of the story. That lady who is having that memory with that baguette, that bagel, and it reminds her of something. She's going to share my bagels with her grandkid or her niece or nephew. And it's this is why it's so tricky. It chokes you up. So now there's someone eating my bagels this Saturday or next Saturday that are going to remember my bagel in 20 years. So I had no idea that would happen.
The power of some foods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I right? I know it.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Wow.
So I didn't think about that piece and imagining my bagel in the future. That, it gives me chills.
Yeah.
It shakes me up every time I tell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so true. I feel like you have such a connection to food, and then you pass it on to your kids, and your grandkids, and then it's like, think about the person that's making that food. They are creating
generational
generational
and
memories with your food.
And what's so cool about the farmer's market too is just like you had that memory, like sitting at this on the stoop, like outside of that, you know, that baguette shop or whatever. Those kids are gonna have the memories of like going to the farmer's market and they're outside and seeing local food. Like it's that whole experience in addition to eating the bagel. And
that's a story that kids can tell. My grandma always took me to the farmer's market and we got a bagel.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like my son has, not to make you choked up even more, but like my son always is like, Mom, remember when we ate that bagel in the car at the farmer's market? Like he'll always say that every time we eat a bagel here, he's like, this is not like that bagel we had in the car.
Right. Oh, how funny.
Yeah, so it's all those memories kind of. Now you can't quit. See, I know you're saying you could quit anytime, but I don't think so. So are you doing 3 markets right now then? You're doing the 2 uptown and the downtown, or are you just doing Saturdays?
Two on Saturday, 1 on Wednesday.
Great.
Part way through the summer, I picked up Gilbert.
Oh, okay, yeah. I just went to Gilbert. That's a nice market.
But I had to quit the Gilbert. The dollars dropped off. And then, Phoenix is easy and downtown is easy because you can guess how many people live within a full radius of each market, right? No one lives south of Gilbert. You know what?
It's tricky.
You're kind of on the edge, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I can feel a cycle to different people at the markets.
Yeah.
There are some people that are on a 2 dozen cycle. They'll buy 2 dozen and take them all home and freeze them. And other people are on a dozen bagels, but they go every 2 weeks. Or some people are 6 bagels every week, So the way the sales are more steady. I mean, there's just a larger population to keep your sales more consistent. So if I got one guy buying $50 in bagels in Gilbert, but he doesn't show up for 3 weeks in a row, and that's
kind of a lot.
Yeah, it's funny. Like if 2 or 3 of them miss in Gilbert, then I'm down a couple hundred. And
it's a longer drive for you.
Yeah.
That's a bigger commute.
If you live by Uptown Market, going to Gilbert's a long drive. So
uptown to downtown they're 20 minutes apart.
Mm-hmm.
Running to Gilbert, and I was having bagels left over in Gilbert, but I got 30 people in line at Uptown, and I'm running out. So it would just. I don't know if I'll go back to Gilbert or not. The logistics of it are just such a tricky deal.
Yeah, it's just finding a market that works best for your product and where you're at.
The kitchen I'm in, I'm limited a little bit on how much I can bake and how fast I can bake it.
Yeah.
Oh, and is that why you're looking at all Saturday markets as well, rather than switching to adding a Sunday market?
Well, I don't. My routine, the way my bread routine is I do need. We still work 7 days. You make dough one day, you roll it the next, and then you bake it and sell it. So you do that. That's 6 days. I could do it a Sunday, but we're worn out and we don't.
Yeah.
It's good to have a day off.
Yeah, sure. Give yourself a day off.
I do wholesale. I got a few.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I got a few wholesale accounts, and that kind of messed me up. But
different financial model for sure. So you have to think about that when you have that getting the full retail price at the market, and then you add wholesale. A lot of people miss that step where you have to recalculate your financial model and you're selling it at a different price and that. So did you do that, or did you? Has that been a learning experience?
Well, it's a huge learning experience. And then one of the pieces was I had a friend helping in the beginning, and then we had a falling out. And, I equate it to like, a boat is moving in the water and it's just a little bump nudges you in a direction, but that little bump early shifts your path. And originally I didn't want to do any other deliveries. I wanted to just do the markets and make money. But then it's like it just creeps in and you get a little bit of help doing some deliveries. And there was a guy opened a sandwich shop, bagel specific. He opened it during COVID. So I kind of didn't think twice about his volume or selling to him. I was like, oh, if he's opening a business in the middle of COVID, he opened after me. So he opened in November. I felt like whatever deal he negotiated on rent made sense to him, and his money's going to work and his sales, and he knows what he's doing. Like, and he wanted to sell bagels, a bagel sandwich in downtown Phoenix. I got to sell it to him. I'm not going to let him buy from someone else. I mean, I felt like that's my turf. I can't. And it was 5 minutes away. It's a 5-minute drive for me to deliver it. And yeah. And I think getting my name out there and people understanding me and knowing it and all of that, it did make sense. Dollar wise, his volume was consistent. You know, if the money's not making sense, it's me and me being inefficient. You know, it's not, you know, I understand the money part of it, but it's me. There's some machinery I need to add. I need a bigger mixer and the volume and number of bagels produced per hour and that sort of thing that I think when I go to the new building, my volume will increase.
So is that one of the impetuses to kind of move forward, expand your equipment, get out of the commissary kitchen and get into a place where you can produce without watching your clock and making sure that you're not going over your hour? Was that why you decided to kind of go a different direction to your own kitchen?
Yeah, I found my new building on accident. I was turning around in the parking lot and I saw a sign, and I knew it was always a bakery, but I didn't know it was for rent. And
oh, so it'd been a bakery.
And I saw the sign and I called, but I was ready to drop the wholesale. I was ready to quit. Like, I'm like, none of this is making sense. And I needed to buy a machinery, I wasn't going to buy a true bagel rolling machine. I was going to buy a baguette rolling machine. And I will at some point. So the idea of the Kickstarter was already there to buy the machine. And how am I going to get it? I need a $10,000 machine. I should do the Kickstarter for that. And then I run across the building and I was debating whether to drop the wholesale completely and drop the delivery or do something different or even just stop altogether. I was tempted to stop altogether. And
this sounds like a theme.
Well,
I mean, being ready to quit gives you a certain amount of.
But it was because the money's not making sense.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like I knew, like I started it and I took on the wholesale and I did it the way I did it, and it like I was literally just hoping something would work out, but I did it in a way that I think we'll see. Like, and this is why doing this podcast now is so fascinating. And I tell people that I'm going to do it, that I'm going to document. I'm preserving everything right here. Then I'm going to go back in 3 months and see if did I really know what I was doing?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Yeah, for sure.
You know, because I did it with the money and the staff, and I struggled through summer and I didn't lay anybody off because I knew at some point I'm going to have to scale up. I'm going to scale. I think I'm going to scale up. Like, how many do I sell in a week? We make almost 2. I probably make 3,000 bagels in a week. But I think I'll triple that.
Nice.
Triple, quadruple. You know what I mean?
Well, it's amazing that you found a place that was already a bakery. I mean, what that saves you in aggravation and building, build out and things is incredible. So did you already have your Kickstarter posted for an amount to buy the machine, and then you added the...
No, I had researched the Kickstarter and thought about it and knew how it worked and was debating about how to present it and do it and talk about it. I don't know how people are going to feel about knowing it's hand rolled now, and you can say they're hand rolled and it's all blah, blah, blah. But no, I got to add machines or else it's not going to, money-wise, it's not going to work. And so how do you present it and tell people that I'm going to start mass producing the product that you like?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's never good.
Give me money
That's
so
tricky. That's a tricky
so
thing.
How do I tell them? I don't know.
Sure.
No, this is it. This is I haven't told anybody until now. So then when I saw the building and talked to the people on the lease in the building, it all very much made sense that you just shift the Kickstarter to, I need whatever I put on there. I forget what I put, 26,000 or.
Yeah, 27,000 was your goal. I'm looking at it here,
Yeah,
which is fairly conservative for equipment and
I needed,
converting a
well,
building.
I'm not going to, I was a little disappointed and I put a goal that I knew I would hit. And I put a goal in there that even if I came up 5,000 short, I'll put 5,000 in to hit the goal. If it costs me, like I'm going to hit the goal because I'm not going to put in the effort and not get like it would be, you know what I mean? So I'm going to pick a goal that I really think is doable that I'll hit. I probably need double that. I'm running out of money.
Sure. Yeah. Well,
Campaign number 2.
such is the way in all construction, and certainly restaurant-oriented construction. It's spend twice as much, take twice as long.
But, so that that was based on what equipment I need. And actually, I'm not that off of the goal. Or how my spending is. I'm not in a bad spot. So yeah, I needed to research Kickstarter more to figure out how to exceed the goal.
Sure.
I didn't know how to exceed it.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of things about doing stretch goals and, how you do your updates. That
part I slacked on.
Gotcha.
I'm very surprised by who gave and who didn't.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
People close to me, I thought would give more or give, and other people, complete strangers, gave the most. A friend from high school put in a whole bunch that I didn't, thoroughly surprised and shocked by the people that gave, and then other people like super disappointed. Like, how can you not?
How could you not give to
and
this?
You're not giving me money. Just buy some bagels now, and I'll give you the bagels later. You don't have $60. Like
Right.
how? Like I see you. I see your life on social media. Enormous
Always
amounts
misleading.
of money pass by your Facebook feed, and you don't have $60 or $120.
How long was your yeah, I know. It's hard to figure out. Yeah. How long was your total campaign on Kickstarter?
30 days.
30 days. Okay. And I'm looking at your
I did what it suggested. It says go over anything is a waste of time,
Yeah, it's funny, and it depends on where you are too. Like we did a big I've managed and consulted on some Kickstarter campaigns, and we did a really, really big one in San Diego a few years ago, and we made it a 16-day campaign because everybody in San Diego does everything at the last minute. So they're not going to pay any attention to it to the last minute. So we just went straight into the last minute. And I'm seeing that you did a 30-day campaign, but you only did 2 updates ever, and they were kind of towards the end, and that is. Oftentimes the downfall for people who have big loyal followings is people are just busy and they forget to look at what's going on. So if you're not constantly updating them, it gets to be a trick. Was there a reason you chose Kickstarter over Indiegogo, or what I'm seeing a lot of people do now, and personally don't recommend, but GoFundMe?
Well, GoFundMe is charity, and that's only for healthcare. Right.
Okay, I agree. You and I are on exactly the same page on that. I'm seeing people do business stuff on GoFundMe. I'm like, you're competing with that little kid that has cancer. It's not
my
the right
wife,
platform.
I followed Helgray forever. I don't know if you know Helgray. There's the watch.
Right.
They use Kickstarter better than anyone out there.
Interesting.
They have used it better, and their campaigns are run better. All their watches are on Kickstarter. So my wife got me a watch for Christmas, and I opened the box. And in it was a little card that says, "We'll ship you your watch in July."
Oh.
So it was exciting that I had to wait that long. So I knew what it was.
Right.
There was one investment thing out there that I looked at a little bit, but then it didn't make sense. I'd rather return it in product.
Sure.
Than return dollars.
Would you give people, if somebody was going to start a Kickstarter now, would you give them any advice about how to structure rewards? Would you still sort of concentrate on pre-purchases of product for all your rewards?
I Well, I would back up and go, I knew how good my Instagram following was.
Gotcha.
So I knew that piece. And I take that back, how I did have a chunk of backers out there that I knew would give, and they did. There was a chunk that gave good amounts. And I knew that I had a chunk out there that was maybe, I forget what I listed. Maybe I said 8,000 is going to come from these people, these 20 people. And maybe I got 5,000 from 15 of them, or 5,000 from 10. I didn't get 8,000 from 20. 10 of them put me at 5,000. And then there was a bunch of surprise money that came in. And then, you know what I mean? It was good chunks. They bought the brunch, the 900 brunch, so I would be
those
curious,
big splashy ones that got people.
right. And I would be curious, like, that's an interesting one. I would, if I did something again or someone did it again, is to research other Kickstarters and see the dollars, what package, what tiers did they buy and why, and what the connection was to them and who got it. Like, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's funny to see. It's something like $23 is the magic number that you'll get thousands of people to give you. But and then there's different levels that other people will give.
But
where are you now on? Sorry again.
There was no way for me to go nationwide. You see what I mean?
True.
Like, I
Because
did
you're
a
not shipping.
Kickstarter that was local. Like, and that would be nicer if Kickstarter could figure that out.
Yeah.
And maybe people can do it. There's 100 emails came in, people trying to help me promote my Kickstarter.
Well, yeah. That's a whole sub-industry, yes, that goes strong. So where are you now on two sides? Where are you with fulfilling your Kickstarter rewards, and where are you with the construction and the bagel shop and the equipment?
Let's see. A couple wholesalers, I sold them bagels at like 50% off of the wholesale price. So she dropped in some money. So she's getting her bagels off right now. Hurry up and pay her Kickstarter back so I can start charging her full price. The tote bag is ordered, and actually I can pick up. Not a whole lot of fulfillment. I think nearly all of it, I said December, and the majority of it I put at after the new year.
Okay, so you're not late.
No, I'm not late. A couple of products I got to buy was the tote bag and the coffee mug. I keep agonizing which coffee mug to get. And then I do need to reach out, because there's a couple of things on the Kickstarter that I got to give in order in which they bought it. I got to give them priority of the dates, because some of it's are date.
Gotcha. And again, I think with Kickstarter, it's so much just communication. So we see so many Kickstarters and fundraisers that fulfill their stuff late, and people are fine with that as long as you keep talking to them. As long as you keep telling them, this is what we're doing and this is what we've accomplished, and we're going to be late, but coming at you, we're still going forward. So it's the ones that just do it late and then they get embarrassed about being late, and so they don't talk to people. Those are where you get people that are hostile.
Right. And I guess it depends what the product is.
Sure.
You know what I mean? How easy it is to produce or to give back. You know what I mean? They're going to get their bagels at the market.
Right. There you go. They know where to find you. So
if their prize is bagels, are they just picking it up at the market?
There was a couple different ones, and it ties into the building as well.
Sure.
Because if I run into weird logistics, the building, I wanted to be open end of November was the goal. I think it's December. It could be January. Permitting and it's happening. Stuff is happening in the building. Construction's going on. I got my first inspection on the calendar for 2 weeks from now.
Oh, good.
So that's the plumbing one.
Always a biggie.
If inspection 2 and 3 can get scheduled quickly, it's all, so much as COVID, there's short inspectors,
Sure.
The housing boom. There's so many things in there. I think it's a 50-50 chance I open December. Then I return Kickstarter product. You can pick up at the shop. Some of it is limited by the day and stuff. Some of it is pick up at the market. And then I go crazy. What do I say? Then I got to reach out to each Kickstarter and plan their fulfillment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will my bagels and lox be ready for Christmas? That's my real question.
Wait, are you selling lox too?
I do a salmon platter. Yeah.
Oh,
That was my pledge I got for Christmas time.
really? We will be seeing
Are you
you
in
in a
Phoenix?
month. We're in San Diego, but we actually come to Phoenix for Christmas, so we will be seeing you, and we will be after that lox and bagel platter for sure.
Okay. Yeah. And like I said, I need money too, but I want to knock out the Kickstarters as much as possible.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. No, we'll just come buy one. We know you need money. You're still building when you're all constructed.
Yeah.
We'll wait on that, but we need some bagels and lox.
Yeah, we have to get bagels anyway, so we'll come see you, and I'm sure my son will insist that it's your bagels. So
Will you make us eat them in the car?
yeah, that's where we're having our
hot.
Christmas dinner. It's hot. Yeah, it was hot, so we were sitting in the car. So
I
when
had
you,
another
Yeah, go
Kickstarter from California.
yeah.
She had the bagels at her mom's here. She was from California. She came back from her wedding and she messaged on the Kickstarter. She got her bagels for the day after her wedding.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
So
that's
my bagel,
nice.
the Kickstarter, I gave her bagels and cream cheese for 50 people.
Look at all the
Yeah,
memories
her
you're
wedding.
building around these bagels.
See?
You're going to have to teach your.
She's out of town too.
Yeah, so you don't have to be in town. It's people who visit. See, I go to
Right.
Phoenix so often that I was like, well, I'm
Yeah.
just going to pledge because I've donated to a few Kickstarters in Phoenix because it's like I go there so much.
Sure.
I'll just get my
Right.
reward there. You don't have to ship it,
Yeah.
you know? So, yeah, for sure. So when you open your brick and mortar store, are you planning to stay in farmers markets or are you planning to transition out and just have your store?
Oh, no, I'm staying. It's the money. That's the money maker. I mean, that's too good to not to pass up.
This
You know
is
what
our
I mean?
soundbite as a an advertisement for our whole business. Yes.
Well, it's a moneymaker, and it's also one of the unique ways where you can do really hardcore face-to-face relationship building marketing
Yeah.
while making money.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. And you can point people to the store to come on non-market days and then they come see you at the market on market days. I mean, it's just
Yep.
a great way to
Yeah.
kind of broaden, not put all your eggs in one basket.
My build. I don't know how well you guys know. My building is at 30th and Thomas, 30th Street.
Oh, yeah. That's
And-
on the edge of our hood.
So it's like I got the building. You know, it's like I looked at it going, "Oh, I'm a private chef and a caterer." And no matter what happens with the bagel, like the bagels, honestly, if everything goes good, maybe in a year from now, year and a half, I'm signing a lease on another. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but that building is great for bagels, but it's like I need another bagel store.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's not a good building for you to come in and eat a bagel, drink a cup
Okay,
of
so it's
coffee.
more
Like
of
a
a
pickup.
manufacturing
No,
facility.
you get your bagels and you go, but I'm right next to Arcadia. And
Yeah.
I'm right in Paradise Valley.
You're in Arcadia
and
Light.
close to Midtown. So it's very much I'm baking and producing food out of there and selling it.
Great.
You know, I'll probably be a wholesaler my goal is a wholesaler for that area. You know, the hotels that
Smart.
are close by, other restaurants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you can come get your salmon platter. Probably a number of other baked items will be on there'll be cookies, there'll be, as much as I can bake, really.
Sure.
And really
Yeah.
great, dense residential population right there.
Yeah, that's perfect area.
yeah.
We raised our kids in Arcadia Lights, so you're in our neighborhood. We
Oh,
love
okay.
it. So you'll stay at the markets, and then I guess to wrap up, we'll get back to your original premise. You're trying to get out of town. Now you've got not only a thriving market business, but you have an actual bakery in a building. So should we assume that you're no longer trying to flee Arizona?
No, well,
No.
Not right now.
no, honest, I want to open a bagel shop like, I don't know, Pasadena, San Diego.
Hey,
All
come
right,
to San
come on
Diego.
Maybe, I don't know about LA or not. It's an easy deal to research, right?
Sure.
You just Google bagel shops and then you look and then you count up the number of Einsteins and then you figure out how many, and then you go right in the middle of that.
Say, who needs a real bagel?
That's right.
Well, come on over to San Diego. We'd love to see you.
Yeah, I'm not, I'm not leaving. I signed a lease on the building, so it's figure out, but it is very much, it's not finished, meaning how I make the bagels and produce them efficiently. It's a whole nother story in this new building, and I don't know how much time we got left. I can talk forever. I joke how this is like playing like Legend of Zelda. It's a role-playing game, right?
Right.
And we started off and we're on this level and we're going around and we're doing our thing and we're selling our bagels at the market. And this is our commissary kitchen. Well, when we go to the new building, we're going to go up through the tunnel. We're going to go up the ladder through the tunnel and come out on a new level. And we have no idea what to expect.
There we go.
Owning a small business is a hero's journey, for sure.
There's no way of going back. You're not going to go back down to the other level.
Nope.
You're
going to keep going.
You have no idea how to, I don't know. We might run along and kick over a treasure chest and it's like filled.
That's right.
I like this analogy. I'm going to use
Right?
it.
Or, trees might be falling in my way left and right. It might be horrible.
But you'll still climb over. I trust you to
I might
keep
quit.
propping up those ladders and getting over those trees
Right.
and finding that treasure. I think it's going to happen. I can feel it.
Yes.
It's been great talking to you, Charlie. And we will talk to you again.
Yeah,
and
we
I think Bridget and I at least will see you in Phoenix in December. We will be coming by for bagels.
Yes, and it'll be nice. We'll have you back on so you can tell us what next level you unlocked and how things are going once you get up and running there. And we'd like to hear an update in a little bit. So
That's right.
Okay.
all right.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Charlie.
Thanks so much,
Thanks for being
Charlie.
here.
Good luck. Bye.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Tent Talk today, and big thanks to the Kitchen Door for helping food makers find the right licensed commissary kitchens to support their farmers market businesses, and for supporting Tent Talk, the farmers market podcast. Get cooking by clicking the Kitchen Door logo on the resource page at farmersmarketpros.com.
Farmers markets are all about connection, and all of us, operators, farmers, and vendors, keep learning. Join us and your fellow market participants at the 6th Annual Intense the Farmers Market Conference in San Diego, California on March 7th, 8th, and 9th, 2022 to grow your market and your community. Connect with people just like you from various parts of the country and share what's happening in your area in the terrific conversations over in our private Facebook group, the Farmers Market Pros Community. If you're actively involved in a farmers market, please find us there, answer the 3 qualifying questions, and join the group. You can also message us on Instagram at Farmers Market Pros or email us at connect@farmersmarketpros.com. If you're just getting started in farmers markets, check out our Vendor 101 online course at farmersmarketpros.com. Thanks for listening to Tent Talk. Please leave us a review on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you access your podcast, and tell us and others how you're enjoying Tent Talk. And be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss the next episode. Tent Talk, the Farmers Market podcast, is proudly produced by Farmers Market Pros, where passion meets profit. Today's episode was recorded and edited by Justine Marzoni-Mead. Original music by David Mead. Thank you so much for listening today, and we'll have another great episode next week. Tune in.